And welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is the 24-hour Bible study, and I'm Coach Les, and I am here with Sujata, who is the author of an amazing book that has been out. How long has it been out now, Sujata?
Uh, it it was published in 2020 September.
September 2020, so coming up on 2 years. And most recently, just at the end of last year, 2021, I had the privilege of being able to read this live on Clubhouse here and recorded it. And what I fell in love with Sujata and her family. And we said, let's do a podcast together. Let's take the book Against All Odds and use that as an opportunity to filter the possibility into this room on Clubhouse and share it across social media. And Sujata, who has accumulated a wealth of experiences during her life, leading to insights and knowledge that cannot be coached or taught in a class. She's been a mother, a wife. Well, she is a mother, a wife, was a journalist, a consultant, an activist, a leader, and a businesswoman domestically and internationally. In sharing her story, Sujata strives to provide readers of all backgrounds in any part of the world with real life examples on how to deal with the unpredictable nature of everyday life. And I'm so proud and privileged to be a part of the journey. And I'm going to pass the mic over to Sujata. I think she's settled in now and live and ready to rock and roll. And where is there a section you would like me to read today, Sujata? Or are we going to just dive off onto another?
You can read whichever section because I don't have my book here with me. I gave some suggestions in WhatsApp to you, so you can dive in. I would just like to honor you as the human angel in my life. I'm very blessed to know you, to have you in my life. Everything happens for a reason, and there's a reason that you're here.
Aha. Well, I think I like what she has written, and I'm not sure where I would find it in the book to be a good example. But she had shared with me and my WhatsApp that we would talk about today obstacles, opportunities, foundations, principles of business, and trust and transparency. And I think this to me is a perfect opportunity for the simple fact that my journey in business, I'm one of these people that is a living, breathing case of what it is to go into a business partnership. And to quote a screwdriver and a screw, I was screwed. And it was a very interesting journey for me, especially when I suddenly had to take on being responsible for being the screw in that situation. And what had me put myself there and put myself naked and at risk. And as I look at that and I look at what Sujata wants to share with and wanted us to have as our topic today, I'm going to open up by sharing one of the stories for me that I would say, has given me a PhD in business, in what not to do. And I've come a long way in that process. And I am super excited to say I came out of school. I went into a beautiful job. I was coached by a gentleman, a mentor, my last quarter of university. And he said, Les, you've been gifted with the gift of the gab. And I was like, wow, cool. And he says, well, it could be cool if you get trained. And I'll make this story, this would go on for quite a while. I'll make it very short. He explained a whole bunch of things, and then he said, here's what you need to do. You need to go and sell big equipment, some kind of hardware, and learn how to knock on a door, business to business to business, and sell the big equipment to those people. And then once you have been sales rep of the year 5 times, then I want you to find a job as a recruiter and sell people and learn how to speak on the phone and sell over the phone and interview and backwards interview. And I went, okay. And he said, and then you'll do that until you're sales rep of that company, sales rep of the month, 5 months of the year. And if you don't do 5 in the first year, then you have to go wait till the second year and do 5 in that one. He said, at that point, in either case, I will sign off on you being sufficiently trained in what it is that I know you're missing. And so off I went, and I sold photocopiers, big for Minolta, for 18 months. And it was almost a 6-month training program. It was about 4.5 months. And then, I started the counter, and I was sales rep of the month 5 times, and I didn't want to leave. So I hung in there for another month. And then I said, okay, I made a promise, and I found myself an executive recruiter, and same thing, went through a training process and fell in love with being a recruiter. I think maybe it was because of my office. I was on the 5th floor, the top of a building, in front of a big picture window overlooking a park and a golf course. And I got to stand up on the phone and pace back and forth. And I used to get about 5 miles in. And once again, sales rep of the month, and I was ready to roll. And all of these things along the way, these training and development moments, brought me to this point where I said, I don't want to work for anybody else anymore. And this was about 20 years later. And I went into a business and a partnership, and I used all of my 401k and all of my investments to go into buying a building, and knowing that my money would be safe. It's in a piece of real estate. In fact, it was very safe. And we owned a building. What I didn't take into consideration was that a partner that had 51%, what they could do to me. And the obstacle that I realized that I faced was, yes, the attorney that we were working with, who had written up the agreement, and did exactly what the bank wanted, gave her 51%, me 49%. And what I didn't know was that the moment I signed that document, I signed away my power. And I didn't know until 3 years later. And we had come to a point where we were in the black. We'd been in the red for 2 3/4 years. She also owned a cleaning company that was doing $1 million a year. And I was the business development manager for that. And then we owned a used car dealership with 100 cars. That it took a lot of investing. And at that point, I remember, I'll never forget, February of 2015, my youngest sister passed away. And then June of 2015, I found my groove, that right after my sister passed. And I knew what I wanted to do with my life was make a difference. And everything came together, and we were in the black for the first time in 3 years. And I knew there might be a potential at some point that we would part ways. I just didn't know it was coming the way it came. And she asked me to pack up, and said, you've got 2 months. And then when I didn't say anything, it became, and I just kept on doing what I was doing. It became 2 weeks, and then it became 2 days. And when I left, I had the experience of losing my family as well. So I restored my mindset, and I went traveling, and I learned, and I watched, and I read, and I learned, and I watched, and I read, and came back and started my own business, 100% on my own. And the obstacle then became, how do I get my investment back? And because her business took a dive and it went spiraling extremely fast. It only took 2 years to get down to where she was actually cleaning with her cleaning company. The building had been taken back by the bank, and the automobile lot had been taken over also by the bank. I luckily wasn't signed on any of those documents. And they came and said, here's your $450,000 note for the building, and we're calling, you have to pay us back. And I said, well, I don't have it. I don't have $500,000. And all the business credit cards picked up the phone, and my name was on them because I had always had the 850 credit rating. And they came calling for the money from the business. And I said, well, I don't have the money. I mean, she had put a $16,000 engagement ring onto one of the credit cards, and I wasn't able to pay it off, and the obstacle for me and the trust I suddenly stopped trusting anybody. And the obstacle then became, how do I get out of this hole? And so for 5 years, I had to hide from creditors and go to court and fight. And I paid $110,000 to get to 115 back. And I'm still owed 60, which I'll never see. And luckily, the one thing that God did, the universe did, however you want to look at it, they found a buyer for the building, because the building we only owed about 400 on it. And it was now worth $750,000. So the bank wanted it, and they found somebody to buy it for $690. And it took 2 years, and it released me of the debt. And that's when I said, that's it. No more partnerships like that ever again. And what I learned from that was, you don't trust people that are already in your garden to work with on partnerships. You invite somebody that is a neutral party to work with both of you. You make sure that you're both taken care of and your families are taken care of. And I literally, in all of the stuff that I had to go through and all of the stuff I've had to learn about finances since then, I have a PhD in Business 101. And I've shared since then. So that was 2015. So in 7 years, I have supported, at least out of all the clients that I've worked with since then, and I've coached about 5,000 people since 2003. But most recently, since 2015, I have rewritten documents probably a couple dozen times, so 24 times, based on my experience. And I've been thanked by both of the partners, because they're still friends. They still work together. And several of them have sold their businesses and both walked away super happy. So that's what integrity does. And that's, for me, that's why I'm here to share some of that, because the coaching that I got while I was going through all of that, I know saved me from suicide. It saved me from depression. It saved me from diving into a bottle. It saved me from running away. And there were many times that I called my coach and said, I'm done. I'm going to get on a plane tonight and, go to England and get a job and start my life over there, because I'm still a citizen in England, which is where I was born. And I'm glad I didn't. I love where I am. I love who I'm married to, and I love the business that I've created, and I love what I've created here on Clubhouse. And I've gotten to meet somebody like Sujata, and I'm very blessed. And I see squirrels here, and Jeanette. Yes, Jeanette is another. She is my apprentice. She's my friend. She's my sister. She's my administrative accountant. She's everything when it comes to the 24-hour Bible study, and just really appreciate her. And then I've got a chance to meet, fun, crazy people like me, like Squirrel Mark, who is on stage also. And so I'm truly blessed. And I'm going to hand the mic over to you, Sujata.
That's such an awesome share. And it's such a valuable PhD, right? It's a practical PhD that you got. Even if you went to university and got a PhD, it would be nothing compared to what you got, the lesson in life. And that's what, these are the stories that I like. And these are the stories that should be written about as stories to inspire people and to, give them practical solutions. Because in theory, you can say anything and everything. It will not resonate with the person who's going through the journey, like you went through the journey and you overcame all the obstacles and turned it into an opportunity at the right time.
Yeah, it's truly been a blessing.
And all those people who came to help you or to hold your hand while you were going through the phase when you wanted to give up or to commit suicide, those are what I call the human angels who are sent. Wonderful.
Very much. And with that, I'd love to hand the mic over to Mark. If you have anything to say or share, go ahead, Mark. Hey, Squirrel.
There we go. I was pushing a button and it was like, it wasn't going. Well, thank you for having me up. I appreciate it. I absolutely love your share, especially when you were talking about the amount of when you signed away your power without even knowing it, wanting to do something, with your life, and the things that it's more like a blessing in disguise. That's the way I'm seeing it. It was a blessing in disguise. You maintained your values, your integrity. You kept doing the right things. You never stopped believing in what was right, and you did do right. And good things come to those who wait and who continuously never stop believing in themselves and their others. And it does come back to you when you put in all of yourself and everything. It comes back to you at some point in time in life. Maybe not the time that we want it to, but it does come back. Just keep showing up like you're showing up, Coach. I love all you guys up here on the stage. Thank you. I appreciate you all.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And with that, I'd love to pass the mic over to Jeanette.
Thank you, Coach. It's such a great pleasure to share the stage with you. When you talk about, that's why it's great to relate to people. When you are able to be present, you get that life history, you get that life experience. And that's why it's important to communicate, with the people that you're with. And what I got out of it is, even though you went through all of that, you learned all these lessons in life, and but it's who you put yourself around. It's what you did to propel yourself at a higher level, and what you got out of it. It didn't let you stall. It didn't stall you. It didn't create stagnation. It like just propelled you to go forward. And that's what I got out of your story. You know, when you are going through seasons in life, you want to have people that are lifting you up and pulling you out of that and keeping you looking forward. And that's the benefit of having someone with the ability to coach you through it, having friends that are there to support you at every level. So I appreciate your share. And thank you for letting me share this space with you.
Always, always, Jeanette. Always. Thank you. And with that, we'll pass the microphone over to Lakiba. Good afternoon, Lakiba.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Coach, for always giving me the opportunity to come up. Your titles are always so intriguing. When I saw Against All Odds, I said, hey, I definitely got to get into this podcast and really kind of talk about what Against All Odds will do for you. Your story is absolutely amazing. I wish I would have heard all of it. I chimed in a little late. But I can remember when I was going through just some difficult times in my life, health, financial status, going from money to no money, from money to food stamp card, from money to Medicaid, and it was a trying time. But I would not be where I am today had I not experienced the odds being against me, tapping into fields that I don't have degrees for, and I am just thankful to God how He always qualifies you where He places you. And that's why we have to be careful not to get caught up in man placing us somewhere, or our man putting us on, as they say now, I'm going to put you on. We have to make sure that it's God that does it, because when God does it for us, it stays, it sticks, it's solid. And you don't have to worry about God snatching it from you as long as you're doing what He called you to do. But man often will do that, dangle it in front of you, give it to you. And then if you make them mad or don't do something, then they'll take it back, And so it's incredibly important to understand when the odds are against you, that is just a setup for you to be able to propel to the level that God has called you to be. And so it's not a time to be discouraged or get worried, because God has a plan in every step of your life. And I'm thankful to hear part of your story and to see where you are today. I know you've helped so many different people. I'm looking forward to working closer with you to be able to get more power and purpose out of the things that God has called me to. This is Lakiva, and I'm done speaking.
Power, purpose, and passion. Purple passion, Lakiba.
I love it.
Unbelievable. Yes. And today, for those of you that may not know, there's an organization in the United States called BNI, and it's actually all around the world now. It's called Business Network International. Dr. Ivan Meisner started it, and it's a very formal networking group where they have a very specific mode of how they go through their networking process. And today, if you happen to go look at any of the replays on live on YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn, you'll see me in good old Viking wear, Minnesota Vikings, my hat with my own logo on it, because I don't like to wear a logoed hat unless it's got mine on there as well. And, I showed up today, and here I am in this purple football jersey, American football jersey. And usually I'm in a sport coat and tie, and people are looking at me and they're like, what is he doing today? Uh-oh. And I got up and I did a motivational piece, because, and don't laugh too loud, Jeanette, the Minnesota Vikings have never won the Super Bowl. They've never played. They're a team that seems to get almost there many, many times. And so I was like, there's something about the Vikings, though, that they may not be like ready for the limelight. They may not be number one. And I'm thinking of myself as I'm saying this. I may not have 50,000 followers here on Clubhouse. And the Minnesota Vikings may not have all these big stats, but when you look at their stats and their history since they were, since they became a team, and they became a team in their first season was in 1961. The franchise was granted January 28, 1960, 3 years before I was born. And I went, okay, so there's got to be some fun stuff that I can share, and I can talk about a team that doesn't necessarily have this big, flashy, we've won this many rings and got this many awards, and we're this flashy, and we've got all these followers like that here on Clubhouse. And I thought, okay, so let's take a look behind the scenes and take a look. And I thought, let's look and see what are all the records that are some of the things when you put in the back, and when you go into and you say to the team, Google, and look at team facts and some of the best team facts out there. What I came up with is there's a whole bunch of things that they look at to say you're the best at, the most yards rushing career. And this is all football players, AFL, NFL. And, it's a Minnesota Viking, Adrian Peterson, in 2007 to 2014. Most yards passing career. The quarterback, Fran Tarkenton, 33,000 yards from 1961 to 1966 and 72 to 78 with the Minnesota Vikings. Most receptions in their career in the whole of American football. Chris Carter, 1,004 receptions from 1990 to 2001, 11 years. All-time leading scorer, Fred Cox, 1,365 points between 1963, my birth year, and 1977. And I thought, you know what? Think about that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 major wins. Key things that every team wishes they could have. And I thought, okay, so that maybe they don't win the championships, they don't win the awards, they don't have the big Super Bowl rings and all of that, but they have some of the greatest players ever to have lived yet in football. And I thought, okay, I can show up for that. I can stay motivated for that game. And then I pulled out my ace of hearts in my presentation. And I did all of this in 40 seconds because I had visual aids. And Nick Vujicic, who, if you look up that name on YouTube, you will find a gentleman who has no arms and no legs, and he has a little flipper for a foot. And he is one of the leading motivational speakers in the world today. He has learned to get around. He's learned to swim. He has learned to be an amazing husband, an amazing father, and an amazing contribution to kids all over the world when he shares his stories and puts his pictures up on the PowerPoint on stage. And you see him as a little kid with no arms and no legs. And here he is now leading one of the most blessed lives in the world, married to a beautiful lady and I think they have 2 kids. And when you hear his story and you go and watch this, I want you to go and stand in front of the mirror and think about what you just watched. And as I did this, I then was super transparent with the whole group. I said, I've been a coach for 20 years. And one of the things I have not yet done in my 20-year history as a coach, in making vision boards since 1989, so 22, 11, 33 years I've been making vision boards of some sort or another. Never once have I put a picture of what I want my physical body to look like, what I want. And I was challenged by my coach, Les, you've got to do this. You've got to put this onto your board. If you're serious about your health and well-being and having a six-pack, you better get a picture. So I did. I went online and I found a 58-year-old man. And I know some of you can't see this, but I'm going to hold it up and you'll see I superimpose my head, my bald head, over this person. And he's in shorts, and you'll see if you take a look on the live video, you'll see on the one side, that's me, chubby and smiling. And on the other side is this gentleman that went through a body transformation, and that's my commitment. And I stood up there and I said, this is it. This is the year that I become this. And my wife said, all right, this is it. And I started 75 Hard by Andy Frisella, and I'm on day 3. And life is, already challenged me. I didn't want to get out of bed at 5 o'clock this morning and walk 3 miles for my first 45-minute exercise. And here we are. This is the game. This is what we're up to. And it's, again, for me, that's going to be against all odds. The odds are not in my favor. After 30 some years of doing sales coaching and coaching, of not hitting that goal. I mean, I dropped 50 pounds one year and still didn't have a six-pack. In fact, I have a picture that's with 2 25-pound bags of sugar on each shoulder, showing that I dropped 50 pounds. And you could see on all my clothes, my pants and everything, you could see. But I still didn't have a six-pack. So why do I share this? Because this is, one, it's against all odds. And second, for me to be transparent and create with each of you in the room, down in the audience, up on stage. This is it. And when you look at integrity, my vision board never had integrity around that area. So I was always sneakily never putting it into practice. And I would always had an excuse. Oh, it's my birthday. I gotta have birthday cake. I gotta have ice cream. And since I think September of last year, October, Jeanette and I have been on a health journey. She's been on a health journey for a lot longer. But we took on doing a sugar detox. We took on doing intermittent fasting. We took on, and we've taken on these things, and we've won those games. And I now have a replacement for ice cream that I absolutely love and die for. And my wife is super excited because, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, my wife is 12% body fat. She's got a 6-pack on her stomach and a 2-pack on either side. That's how in shape she is. And she works out 6 days a week. And she is a beast. She is unbelievable. So I have an example and a companion that's setting the bar, and I'm in. Back to you, Sujata.
I'm speechless. And I'm also reminded that I have a lot of catching to do up where my health is concerned. And to be honest, I keep putting it off with whatever life challenges that I get. However, I should focus on that because there are people who want me to live longer and be around them. So if not for myself, then I should do it for Coach Les. told me very clearly that I do want you around longer, right?
Yeah,
So,
and here's the thing about that. I believe, Sujata, it's easier to do it for somebody else than it is to do it for us.
yes, that's right.
It really is. I mean, I'm looking at the people on the stage, and they will bend over backwards for other people, and they struggle to give themselves 100%.
That's because there are some people who are givers and they don't know how to give themselves. And, that bit of love and care which we need to give ourselves, we forget when we are pouring onto others everything that we have. That has been one of the attributes of what I do and why I neglect my health. That's for sure.
Excellent, excellent. All right. So I'd love to hear what is opening up. What do you want? What we'd like to share? Squirrel, I pass the mic to you.
I got it. What you said is true. Especially giving. Hello. I love to give. What's up, Barzan? How you doing, bro? I love serving others. It's something I've always done. And now I'm learning to receive that and get back what it is that I'm putting in, not only to others but to myself. And that's a big thing. It's being able to separate, to discern, and to decide. Essentially, we decide our time. When we want our time to be, and that's by making a plan and putting that into action, and then doing it, allowing yourself to see, hear, touch, and feel everything that we want for ourselves first, and then we can go ahead and bring that to other people. And even against all odds, I still continue to pour into other people, and I have been blessed from that, by doing that, by living a life of selflessness. But then I learned there is a degree of life or a time where you need to be selfish for yourself. And that is something that takes lessons to learn sometimes. It takes, or others who have been there and have done that, and you listen to what they have to say and what they've experienced, and you heed a warning to which somebody has already been there and done that. It saves your life a lot of heartache and speeds things up for you and makes things healthier, happier, knowing that you're wiser and smarter because you took that time to humble yourself and say, I'm going to listen to this. Now I deserve this. I put myself here. I worked hard for it. Now it's my turn to win. Thank you for that, Coach. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Squirrel. Appreciate you, and thank you for being here. And thank you for being somebody that I can count on to come up on stage and share their heart. I appreciate it. I appreciate the work that you do when you come into the rooms.
Thank you, Coach.
And with that, I pass the mic to Jeanette.
Yeah, I'm driving home and I'm listening to you. When you brought up Minnesota Vikings, yeah, I had a smile on my face. But I was getting ready, prepared to mention all of the names that you gave. Sports isn't the competitiveness is to when you're a fan of one team. And it's the heart of the game that puts you in that team's fan base. And a lot of times the players are the heart of the fan. They to see the fan, a lot of them follow them through college. And when they get drafted, I'm a big watcher of draft day. I want to see who's my favorite college athletes, where they go. And of course, I want the best ones to go on my team. But when you look at a team, you look at the heart of the team. And just like coaches, when they recruit, there's also that element of looking at what's in their heart for the game. Vision board, you mentioned the vision board. Put it on the vision. When I coached sports, when I coached youth sports, I did a lot of visuals with them. I always picked the ones that nobody wanted, and I always took them to the championships. And I didn't do it. I just gave them the vision and the encouragement for them to do it on their own. And they would be like, I can't believe we did it. I can't believe we're in the championships. And just getting them to relax and have fun. But the visual part is so important. It is really important. And I'll tell you, one of the coaches, I remember when I met Pat Riley, and he had just gone to Miami Heat. And one of my mentors was friends with him. So we got to meet Pat Riley. And he's talking about when he got to Miami, he asked them, one of the first questions he asked them was, when you have your championship parade, where is it going to be? And they all looked at him like, what are you talking about? And he goes, no, where is it going to be? And so when they told him it was going to be on Biscayne Boulevard, he went and got a bus. He loaded on with the bus, and he had them walk the parade route so that they could visualize himself in that parade, what it was going to be like in that parade. And guess what happened? They got to that parade. And that's why visual is important. That's why the mindset, that's why coaching is so relevant. Having the heart for it and putting yourself around those kinds of people that are always looking up, looking at putting that vision in their head so that their heart can be led. And that makes a big difference in where you are and where you're going to be. And so we keep striving for that. And I just thought there were some other points I had in mind, but I forgot because there was so much shared, so many great nuggets that were shared. So I'm going to pass the mic back to you.
You're going to leave us in the lurch? You're not going to share?
I did share, Sujata stated, that a lot of people are caregivers. I am a caregiver, and I took care of my family. Right? Yep. And so now it's my turn. And what I'm doing is I'm creating my village. I'm not going to get where I was before, when I had my first diagnosis. I'm not going to get back there alone, because there are things that even in the medical field can't explain. And until they can explain, we can't get the answers to get me back to where I was. But I have a vision, I have it, and I'm doing what they tell me to. Was I doing that before? No, my whole heart wasn't in it. And it was hard to visualize me going back to where I was. But now I'm doing what they tell me, and I'm telling them, you know what? We got to find the answer. We've got to do this together. They have the tools, and I have the facts. If I keep communicating the facts, just give me the tools. Let's try something new. Let's keep doing it until it works. And that's where we're at. I just got through, having a conference with my wellness center. I said, here's where we're at, and here's what's working, and here's what's not working. And they have an idea. And again, it's going to be using having the doctors and them working together. It's taking both. Eastern, Western medicine to make it work, and having an open mind. I have the facts and I'm the one that has to do the work. And I'm not going to be able to do it alone without my village. And I realize that, but I've got the mindset now because all the pieces are coming together. And the attitude, the mindset, everything is just working out now. You know, one of the things that I really appreciate is the personality tests. And I had to take one for a course that I took. And then, of course, I did one, the DISC with you, Coach, and we could see the areas that needed leveling up. But we knew why. We knew exactly why. And they were spot on. And with that, so continually working on that. Will I continually be a caregiver? Not anymore, because I don't have that. I don't have to worry about those commitments anymore. And that now it's just me. It's just me, and of course, making sure my village is intact, that they are supportive in what I do and encouraging in everything that I do. The world it can be a small place or it could be a big place. The goal is to create as many positive people around you and pulling in the people with heart, with integrity that can do that, not only for you, but for others. And you want to keep those close. You don't want to lose those kind of people. You want to keep them close. So those are others. And thank you for, I don't want to hog up the mic, so I'm going to pass the mic back to you, Coach.
You're not hogging the mic. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you so much. You know, and, you know, just to let everybody know, this is the 24-hour Bible study, and this is Coach Les and Sujata from the book Against All Odds. And we do this live podcast every single Wednesday, starting at 4:30 Central Standard Time for an hour. And, you know, I'm just so blessed to be here with such amazing people. And I thank you. And for those of you that are new to this room or haven't been to this room before, we'd love it if you would go and, you know, click on the little greenhouse up at the top, take a clip and share this, go down and share it into Clubhouse with a quote or just what your experience is. And, you know, I know that for some of you, this isn't one of those rooms where there's 400 people and it's going 100 miles an hour. And, you know, there's all these, what I would call celebrity mods in the room. This is a place where you can come and listen to real life transformation. You can speak with an author. You can hear from people that really put their heart into their transformation and have for some of them, a past year. And, you know, when we titled this Against All Odds, not only was it because of the book, No Retakes, No Manuals, Real Life Lessons by Sujata, it was also an opportunity for us to take on different topics where we could challenge the audience and maybe even scare some people away. And then also challenge some people to come in.
I think we do
that. What was that, Sujata?
I said, I think we do that, scare people away, because it's not about us. It's about looking into yourselves and reflecting on some of the things that we say. And people don't want to think and look into themselves. It takes courage.
Yeah, and for me, I really appreciate that. You know, so for me, it's, you know, you know, I've been spoiled by Jeanette and Sujata, and now I'm getting spoiled by Squirrel because they're instantly, and now I'm getting to know Lakiba. It's like there's, you know, these people that come in and they're willing to step onto the stage and open up and share. And that is such a blessing, and it's such a powerful opportunity. And it gives, when I think about how much life is shared in these rooms, and I know, I've had friends come and listen to the replays and say, wow, those people that are on the stage with you, Coach Les, they just like open up their heart, they open up and they just pour out. And then you can hear the emotional breakthrough. I said, well, yeah, that's what's possible. That's what's possible when you step up. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic to you, Lakiba.
Wow, I'm really just sitting here enjoying listening to all the shares. So powerful. I've learned as I just walk with God day by day that it's not just about me sharing and encouraging. It's about me listening to others sharing and being encouraged by their test and their testimony and their mess and their message. And so it's just so refreshing. Y'all was jumping all over the place. I was trying to take notes. It was so amazing. And I love these rooms. I'm always in rooms where somebody either want to be in my magazine or they want to come to the studio or they want to learn about film. And so to just really just come in a room where I don't really have to talk about any of that is great for me. It is just absolutely phenomenal. But I want to really go back to what Squirrel was saying. I mean, it was, and Jeanette, hey girl, I ain't seen you in a while. It's so refreshing when he started to talk about I think he was talking about the vision board and the visuals. And I began to really think about, I'm a real estate agent as well. And being a real estate agent, you get the opportunity to see raw land. And then you see that raw land begin to construct into one house and then 2 houses, 3 houses. And before you know, you got a big old subdivision. And so it's important as a real estate agent, investor, a builder to have some level of a now visual and what is to become visual. Because if you don't, how do you really get the project finished if you don't know what the end result is? And I think a lot of people sometimes don't have visuals for their life. Just like a builder needs a blueprint, you need a blueprint. You need to be able to see where you are now and then see where you want to go. And it may take you a year to get there. Builders, depending on who the builder is, some builders can throw up a house in 5 months, and some really take their time. They custom design it, and it may take anywhere from 7 to 9 months or 9 months to a year. It just really depends. And you have to get to a point to where you understand the process and you're okay with the process. It doesn't mean you're off course because you visualize this to happen, but it hasn't happened in 90 days, hasn't happened in 6 months, hasn't happened in a year. But as long as you have that blueprint, you're visualizing where you are now. I can remember when I was sick. I was sick with stage 3 breast cancer. I had so much bone pain. My family thought I was going to die. They were planning to adopt my children. I was just that sick. And prayer changes things. But I had to visualize myself being in a state of health and wellness. And as I was going through so much sickness in my life, I couldn't even pay a bill. So I had to visualize myself getting back strong financially. And so it's so important for you to have a blueprint for your life. And the most important thing about that is we know the city has to stamp a blueprint in order for a builder to start building. You have to get all these permits stamped and all that before you can start building. The beautiful thing about your own personal blueprint, nobody has to stamp it. Nobody has to stamp it. Nobody has to come out and inspect it. Nobody has to give you a yes and approval. You need the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords to give you a yes. And the no's that you might get from the people around you and those that are close to you do not matter whatsoever. They don't have to validate it. They don't have to date it. They don't have to sign it. They don't have to do any of that whatsoever because the blueprint that God has given you, it's already approved. You already got an Instagram check blue yes. You've already got that. And so it really resonated to me when Squirrel was talking about the visual. I was like, my God, that's so powerful. Because if we could grab a hold of the blueprint for our life, we wouldn't be gossiping on the phone. Girl, did you hear what so-and-so said? And let me tell you about the no I got at the bank. And let me tell you about the no that I got here in the mortgage company and the no. Let me tell you what the person said to me when I walked in this door. None of that matters. None of that matters. I'm going to say this and I'll be done. I said, God, I want to be so connected to you that no matter what people say, no matter how many no's I get, no matter what people do, that it rolls off me. And God gave me a visual of a car being waxed and it raining. And he said, when that car is so super waxed and it's shining so good and it rains, it just rolls right off. And that's what I strive to be spiritually, that I'm not going to let what you say penetrate me, because I'm so shined up that no matter what you say, it rolls off. You don't have to accept my visual for my life. You don't have to accept my blueprint for my magazine. I've had many big time celebrities who did not want to be in my magazine. But I had some big time celebrities who sought me out to be in my magazine. So it doesn't really matter, because the blueprint that I have for all the things that God has given me to do, a magazine editor, a film line producer that I don't qualify for, a media correspondent, a real estate agent, a used car dealer, I don't qualify for none of that. And now stepping out to try to learn how to build a house, I don't qualify for any of this. But it is the blueprint that God has for my life. And that's all that settles it. That's all that matters. You don't have to think I'm qualified when I walk on the set, because you didn't create my blueprint. I had a blueprint when I walked on set. You don't have to approve that. The stamp I got is the stamp that I need. And it's not the stamp that you could go to Office Depot and get. It's not a stamp that you could go to Staples and get. This stamp came from the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And that's all that matters. This is Lakeem, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you for that share. And this is what this whole room is all about, where we come together and we share. And that's how we inspire others to take lessons from each other's journey.
It's my pleasure.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, I'd love to hear Big.
Hi, Coach. How you doing?
Great.
Hi, Jetta and Squirrel and Janetta. How you doing? Miss Lakiba. I was down at the bottom, Coach, and my other phone went dead. And I was looking, because I got my other one to finish listening. And that's, I don't even know if you knew that this was me too.
Oh, yeah.
But I see it looked like I'm still down now, but my phone is dead. So, yeah. So I got getting caught being two people at one time.
It's okay. So, it's okay. We all have pseudonyms.
Okay. So I got caught against the odds right here in live moment, against all odds. And my phone went dead. I didn't want to miss nothing. So I grabbed my little extra to hear what was going on. And you put me on the spot. So I don't have no good ideas to share. I mean, you know, some things is like you can't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. So some things is best left unsaid and let it write itself. So, but I enjoyed listening to Lakiba explain about having visions and ideas and bringing them forth with you know. So I know how some of that can go about, you know, but I don't have this wonderful story to tell nobody to inspire them to you know, have wonderful lives. All I can tell them is the truth, and I yield my mic.
Well, thank you so much. And your truth is awesome, Candida. So thank you. And thank you for being here. And yes, as soon as I saw, I went, I think I know who Big Hush Money is. So it was great. It's good to see you. And I tried to get you up on stage, but I figured you just were busy. So
no, my phone. That's what I'm saying was on low. So I thought I had joined the thing. I kept telling my kids, y'all talking, they gon', these my babies. Everything I do, they be right along with me. And sometimes I think they be wanting to make sure don't nothing get more attention than them. So I make sure that I make them feel included in on things that I do.
awesome. Well, thank you for being here. All right. Hi, Lois. How are you?
Very excited to see Lois.
All right, Sujata, bring her up to speed.
I think she knows what's happening.
Good.
So, Lois, would you like to share? Because we are discussing from the book Against All Odds. We take out topics and we talk about it every Wednesday. Thank you for coming into the room and to the stage.
Uh-oh. Is she able to share? Hi, Lois. She must have stepped away, Sujata. All right. Well, I want to just say I appreciate each and every one of you and thank you for coming in. Before we wind down here, I just like to invite anybody that's up on stage. If Squirrel, if you want to share anything else, Jeanette, Lakiba.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Say something to the young lady who was just speaking, and I want to encourage you because you said something that you really don't have anything to bring or to say. The fact that you are here encourages everyone just to be able to hear your voice there. I wish I could hear the voice of my mother. I wish I could hear the voice of my father. But when you show up, that's enough. That is enough right there. The fact that you just showed up is encouragement to everyone on this stage and those that are down in the audience listening as well. And I want you to be encouraged that when you show up, you just changed the room. Just because you showed up. I remember being on a plane and somebody was nervous for first time flying. And I said, baby girl, if I'm on this plane, it's going to land where it's supposed to land with no problem. Because when I show up with God. So I know wherever we going to go with no problems. So when you show up, you change an atmosphere. You change a room. And go with that, knowing that they need you on the stage. Because what you bring is what you bring. You're not going to bring what I bring. I can't bring what you bring. But what we bring equally is both powerful in our own right. This is Lakiba, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, let me just check in one more time here. Lois, are you back? All right. Squirrel, I saw you flash your mic too. Did you want to just share something?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I love sharing, Coach. You know that.
Okay. No half-hour shares because I want to go eat dinner.
No, I'll be quick. So if you want to beat the odds, you're going against all odds. Surround yourself with people who challenge how you think, not people who nod their head and act like they agree. When you surround yourself with people who challenge how you think, they are consistently and persistently helping you grow, moving you forward, and you're doing that on your own, yourself, because you chose that for your life. And it's not easy to detach from other people. If it's necessary for your life to progress forward with that by stepping back and detaching, do what you need to do for yourself, because you come first at the end of the day. Thank you.
Awesome, Squirrel. Thank you so much. Jeanette, did you want to share anything?
Yeah, so when you put yourself around people like that, be ready to hear the truth. You know, Sujata mentioned that a lot of times people can't handle it. You know, but there's that famous movie with the famous quote, truth, you can't handle the truth. Be ready to handle the truth. And you'll be surprised at what you will achieve, how you'll be able to transform, and how you'll be able to grow when you surround yourself by people that will consistently challenge you. Thank you, Coach.
Lois, did you come back? All right. Sujata, anything else for you?
No, thank you as always for doing this. I appreciate it immensely. That book was written for this very purpose, that it should be discussed, as one review had said in one, I think, Google Reads or somewhere. And you're precisely doing that, and I can't appreciate it enough for the honor that you give to my story, to my journey, to my wisdom. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to pop this room into Mission Impossible status here in a moment. Lunji, thank you so much for listening. Lana, Mirabelle, Anita, excuse me. My goodness gracious, she was going to slap me if she was on stage, Sujata, for me making the mistake. But that's all right. I caught myself. That's the key, right? Self-correction. It was so great to see you, Anita and Mirabelle. Thank you so much. Lois, thank you for popping on stage. I'm sorry you couldn't join us in the conversation.
I am so sorry. I was just texting Sujata that I was in between my room and trying to get dinner done and listening in. I usually can multitask a lot better than that.
Oh, I can't imagine 3 rooms at once. No problem.
I'm so sorry I was not able to listen in the entire time, but I would like to come back again and listen in. Are you guys doing another one?
A Friday night at 9:30.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, let's see if I can keep my eyes open. I'm on the East Coast, you know.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's pretty late for me, but I will try for sure.
No worries. And we're back here next week, same time, same bat channel. And
excellent.
And we may end up putting one into Thursday at some point. We'll see. I'm overloading Sujata already, so you know.
You can't overload me.
Anyway, so thank you for being here, Lois. Thanks for stopping in. Always.
My pleasure. For Sujata, anything.
Oh, I love that.
Look at her. She's sounding all humble now.
How about the winning lottery ticket?
That would be fabulous, Sujata. You got that?
And I just see, now I just see Aneta joining in. There we go. So this is funny. Look at that, Sujata. Anita is right above Aneta.
Yeah, so we should hear what she has to say.
It's Anita.
I know it is Anita, but look who just popped in below you. Right next to you now is Aneta.
That is correct.
It is. Oh my goodness. I just pulled you into the room and then Oh, that's hilarious. And I seriously didn't reach out and pull her into the room. She just popped. That's God for you. Woo! So, Anita, did you want to share anything about the room? I know you've been here for a little bit.
Well, probably not long enough to do as well as Miss Lakiva did, because I think I came in right when she was explaining things. So, this is just, it's, Coach Les, I secretly, or maybe unsecretly, kind of quasi-stalk you on Clubhouse. I'm your Clubhouse stalker, so I don't have to say anything. I just love being in your presence, in your room, and whatever comes out, I just can listen and appreciate the love and support that comes from each and every one. I love listening to Sujata whenever I catch her speaking. Thank you, Miss Lakiva. That was an amazing, I'm going to call it a sermonette. That's the word that comes to my head.
Perfect.
Message from the Most High. God is great, and I'm just blessed to serve Him one more day, and be grateful if He will allow me and honor me to allow Him to serve Him again tomorrow. And I'll just leave that there since we're closing up. I'm about to go and go to practice for my play. That I'm so excited about. And with that, I completely land my mic.
You're awesome, Anita. I'm so excited about the future. I'm tickled pink. So, and with that, Annetta, how are you?
It's another great day, Coach Les. Another great day.
It really is, isn't it? God's purpose is good.
Indeed.
Well, anything about against all odds that you'd like to just drop a little pearl of wisdom before I Mission Impossible the room?
I'll keep it brief. I really love that title, Against All Odds. God is still on the throne. So no matter what we face, against all odds, God is still on the throne, and He is with us, and He has given us the victory. So that's all I got today, Coach.
Well, I thank you. I thank you a lot. And I appreciate you always being here and being with us. It's always a ton of fun. And
I'm learning a lot, Coach. I'm learning a lot. The great coaches and moderators of the 24-hour Bible study rooms, it's so good and so rich, and I'm just glad to be a part, and I'm very happy to always share.
Well, thank you. And with that, I'm going to see if I have found the magic to be able to do the Mission Impossible ending here. I don't know if I'm quite as good as Jeanette is, but here we go. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to do a couple of things here to say goodbye, since we're also live on in several different areas. I'm going to pop a little music here.
Coaching with Les has doubled my practice.
If you have any struggles in your business or your personal life, Les is your guide.
He's logical, he's empathetic, he has passion for helping people, and his ideas are genuinely thoughtful.
So if you're looking for a business coach with integrity, choose Les Hill.